What's going on, y'all? I want to thank you if you're tuning in. I'm your host, Paco, and you're listening to Occupy the Media. Let's see here. Got some good news today with Ron Paul all over the mainstream media, all over the headlines. Our delicate winds are spreading all over the airways, and more people are finding out about it, and more Ron Paul supporters, disenfranchised Obama supporters need to get on the bandwagon, need to get out, need to volunteer. If you're in my area, Los Angeles area, you need to join LA Liberty HQ on Facebook. That's LA Liberty HQ on Facebook. Or go to RonPaulLosAngeles.com. That's RonPaulLosAngeles.com. All right, so I want to jump into this headline here from RT. Reddit co-founder slams Facebook over CISPA support. All right, so let's see here. In an interview with CNN this week, Reddit.com co-founder Alex Ohanian explains that he won't be investing in the largest technology IPO in the history of the internet. Although Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg expects to make billions off the site's initial public offering, Ohanian says that he won't be emptying out his own pockets to pad those of the young Silicon Valley star. The reason is he believes that Facebook's stance on the CISPA Act is very unsettling. Quote, "I understand the business value to what Facebook is doing. We've never seen a company like this before, ever. It knows things about our private lives that no one else does. And one of the big issues that a lot of us in the tech community have with Facebook of late has been their support of bills like CISPA that makes it really easy for a business like Facebook to hand over very private data about us without any due process. So that's why I'm going to be holding off." Facebook advertises that they have 901 million monthly active users, which includes around 500 million people who use mobile phones to access the profiles of themselves and others. The site exists in more than 70 languages, and users upload around 300 million photos each day to the company's servers. To say that Facebook has their finger on a lot of data would be an understatement, but perhaps even more alarming is that the website says they have no problem with sharing any of that information with the government. The social media sites insist that they mean well by siding with CISPA. But Ohanian and others aren't convinced that that's enough of a reason to sign on as a supporter. Quote, "We recognize that a number of privacy and civil liberty groups have raised concerns about the bill, in particular about provisions that enable private companies to voluntarily share cyber threat data with the government." Joel Kaplan, Facebook's vice president of U.S. public policy, explained in a blog post earlier this month, quote, "The concern is that companies will share sensitive personal information with the government in the name of protecting cybersecurity. Facebook has no intention of doing this, and it is unrelated to the things we liked about H.R. 3523 in the first place. The additional information would provide us with specific cyber threats to our systems and users." Unquote. No matter what way they paint it, however, Facebook has indeed gone on the record to support CISPA. Facebook is on record supporting CISPA, essentially agreeing to supply Uncle Sam with the personal data and correspondence of any user in the name of cyber security. Quote, "CISPA is essentially an internet monitoring bill that permits both the federal government and private companies to view your private online communications with no judicial oversight, provided, of course, that they do so in the name of cybersecurity." Congressman Ron Paul explained in an audio address made last month, adding that the legislation represents an alarming form of corporatism as it further intertwines governments with companies like Google and Facebook. Delivering a speech in Amsterdam last month, Ohanian voiced his opposition to CISPA without addressing Facebook's support. "We value privacy and a right to free speech in the real world. This is fundamental to our democracy. For some reason, the rules change online when it's digital, but free speech and privacy should be respected online as well," he said. And finally, speaking to VentureBeat earlier this month, Reddit general manager Eric Martin added that although his company usually avoids taking political sides, The realities of what could happen if CISPA passes is something that could shape the future of not just Reddit, but how the internet operates entirely. Quote, we're not interested in activism, but there are times when we can help make sure the community's voice is heard. And Reddit is built upon having a free and open internet. We're open source, don't require user info, curated, etc. So anything that might threaten a free and open internet impacts both the community and the company, said Martin. On Friday, Congressman Ron Paul reiterated his opposition to CISPA while speaking at the University of California in San Diego. Quote, without the First Amendment, it is very difficult for us to get our message out, said Paul, but I want to make sure that the First Amendment is protected on the internet as well. Again, Ron Paul, one of the only ones speaking up for us, and kudos to Reddit for speaking out against that. We need every company to speak out against that. You know, Facebook is just pretty much going to be another arm of the government soon, if it not already. You know, I think, the CIA created it, if I'm not mistaken, so who knows. These companies are all bowing down to the federal government and in return giving away our freedoms, our rights. I want to jump into this other article from theweek.com. Ron Paul's stealthy delegate strategy. What does he really want? Okay, so they say so if the presidency is still out of reach for Ron Paul, what exactly is he trying to achieve? Here are 3 theories. Paul wants concessions at the convention. Nobody, including Paul, thinks he can actually win the nomination. But Paul's noisy delegates will be able to make a fuss at the Tampa convention and rain on Romney's parade. Presumably, then, the Paul campaign is hoping to final some concessions in Tampa in exchange for keeping his supporters under wraps, planks in the platform, promises of cabinet positions, or the like. Or it's 2, he's paving the path to the presidency for his son, Rand Paul. Or 3, Paul believes this is a fight for the soul of the GOP. Unlike Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum, Ron Paul has no reason to step aside just because the math is against him. He's sticking it out to make sure the GOP can no longer ignore its libertarian fringe. By piling up delegates and forcing the GOP to listen to what he has to say, he's ensuring that's from now on. Republican leaders will have to reach out to a new generation of activists who don't regard religious piety or continual warfare as sacred tenets of conservatism. Okay, so here's what I have to say to that. What do you have to do to win the Republican nomination? That we've been doing for I don't know how long. You know, past 50, 100 years, if not longer. What do you have to do? You have to win the delegates. Ron Paul has always been doing what? He's been campaigning, and he's been putting his money to get delegates. That's been his whole game plan he's been talking about. I'm trying to rack up more delegates. Now, what would a candidate who's putting all of his focus on delegates be trying to do? He's trying to win. Okay? If he was just going for the beauty contest or things of that nature, maybe he would have did a different strategy. Maybe the campaign would have did some different things. I don't know. But this is a strategy of someone who's trying to win. Unfortunately, it's somebody who's trying to win who's not getting treated fairly, and that's why we have to go through all this. But still, they want people to know that Ron Paul's doing this for another reason. Yes, he's trying to rack up more delegates, but he's not getting delegates to win. He's getting delegates just to put a message out there. No, I'm in this to win. And I'm speaking up for me, Paco. I'm in this to win. I'm not doing it for no other reason. Yeah, we want to get a message out, but the message is already out. And we don't need a presidential race to get the message out. The message is out there. We just need to get everybody organized and keep doing what we're doing and win this thing. Well, I'm in it to win it just like every other Ron Paul supporter. I don't want him going third party. I don't want him endorsing any other Republican candidates. And I don't even want him to be in their cabinet, which they would never allow him to anyways. But I don't want none of that to happen. I want him to be president, period, point blank. That's it. It's over with. Anyways, we're approaching the end of the show. Don't forget, next hour, we're supposed to have Ginger with us talking about the main convention coming up and what went down, the more Romney shenanigans. So you make sure you stay tuned to RonPaulRadio.com. Don't forget, I'm on every day